good because you have proof that it works.
In case of a return.
They can't be like, hey, this doesn't do this. It was like, no, I mean.
That's why we take the time to do it, and it is nice to have that.
It's helpful.
Right. Most people go up and they're like, you got any video games? I'm like, you got any Saxon homeschool math books?
Yeah. Specific.
Yeah. We were like, oh, she must be telling the truth. She seems like she's really honest. Welcome to our What Sold video for June 23rd through 29th, where we will go over everything that sold across multiple platforms and give you all of our profits. Let's get started.
All right, let's do it.
The first thing that sold was a Poshmark sale. It was 2 packages of Aunt Martha's old-fashioned flour sack towels. Everybody's looking for these. Somebody was, and they purchased them on Poshmark. We got these at an estate sale for $3. They didn't sell for tons, and we had to cross-list these to get these to sell, so not a super sought-after item. Next up was a women's bra in a size 42D, so a larger size. This was by the brand Delicates, and we got this at a garage sale for $1, and it sold for $15.99.
Big bras always sell well.
Yeah. Hard to find sizes sell well.
Bigger the better.
Next up was a vintage nylon bristle rose. It had like roses engraved on it. This was a vanity style hairbrush made in the USA. We got this at an estate sale where everything was 75% off. We paid $1.35 for it, and it sold for $15.98. It was supposed to have like a whole set with it, like a mirror and probably a comb. But I think somebody had already purchased the other stuff at the sale.
I remember that it was gold. Yeah, it was gold.
Yeah. I think we would have done better with it had we had the whole set. Yeah. Next up was a Carolina Herrera gilded, like little journal kind of diary sort of thing. This was brand new. It had never been written in or anything like that. We found this in the bins and it was in good condition. We paid $1.18 for it. It sold for $10.38.
I really thought somebody would want that.
I did too. Yeah, it was designer.
We just kind of got rid of it at that
point. I think it was kind of hard to market online because I just felt like the pictures didn't really do it justice.
Yeah, it was a cute little notebook.
Next up was a lot of 20 country and Western music cassettes. It included a big variety.
There's a lot of 80s.
80s and 90s. And most of these they were gifted to us, so we didn't have any cost, but we did get at least one from an estate sale, and we were all in on cost for these for just 33 cents. So quite a bargain on those, and they sold for $21.24. Next up was an Urban Outfitters Project Social Tee. This was an oversized gray tunic, and it had pockets. Had that in the title. This came from a storage unit. We paid 28 cents for it, and it sold for $19.99. Next up was a set of 3 C&F Home pillowcases. They were red and green, like patchwork quilt style, and these were gifted to us to sell from family, so we had no cost. They sold for $25. Next up was a Jumpstart Kindergarten Phonics reading, like PC software kind of game thing. This was vintage from 1997. This was also gifted to us to sell. We had no cost. This sold for $9.99. Next up was a 2022 Pokemon Snorlax card. We got this at a garage sale where there was a really cute little kid who had a bunch of Pokemon stuff, and he was quite the salesman, so he was like really talking me into some stuff. He talked me into buying all of his Pokemon cards, several stuffed animals, and
there weren't any good Pokemon cards.
No, it wasn't anything. I think I was just kind of charmed by him, so I bought several things. We paid 14 cents per card for each of the cards from that sale, and this one sold for $2.29. Next up was an animated Halloween doorbell by the brand Jimmy. Some Halloween or Christmas or anything really animated by the brand Jimmy we tend to pick up because some of the stuff can be very valuable. This was kind of a weird item. It was like something you hung next to your door and then you pressed, I think, the eyeball and it like made like a spooky sound.
Yeah, no, this one was actually really, really nice.
I know. I was surprised it didn't sell faster. It did take a little while to sell.
We got that one playing Ben's Bingo.
We did.
That was a long time ago.
It was, yeah. It was like at least a year and a half. Yeah. We paid $1.18 for it. It sold for $19.99. And this is the exact kind of item that will benefit from including a video in your listing. And if you've never done that before, it's something that eBay allows you to do. You can upload a video for free. There are limits on like what kinds of videos you can do. There's requirements on like the type of video format that you include. And there's like a limit on the length of the video. I think it's limited to like 1 minute. And one thing that I find personally frustrating is that you can only upload videos on the PC. You can't use the mobile app to upload videos.
Yeah, I have to end up putting the video in for that. I have to take the video on my phone, send it to the Mac over there, and then put it in through the PC version.
Yeah, so that's really frustrating.
I don't know why they won't allow you to do it through the phone. It makes no sense because you're going to be taking the video on your phone 9 times out of 10. I don't know. It's probably just, it's too hard to fit into the code of the app or something, or it glitches out, or I don't know.
It is frustrating, but we do find that if you have like an animated electronic item or something that you just need to further show the functionality of it.
Anything that moves or makes a lot of different noises, you need to show it. Yeah, that way you have, it's good because you have proof that it works.
In case of a return.
They can't be like, hey, this doesn't do this. It was like, no, I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously it does.
It does. So that's why we take the time to do it, and it is nice to have that.
It's helpful.
Next up was 2 DVD sets of Ally McBeal seasons 2 and 3. These were gifted to us to sell, and we had no cost. They sold for $33.98. I don't know if
Callista Flockhart.
I loved that show.
It sounds like a real made-up name.
Doesn't it? I wonder if it is.
Yeah. Who's she married to? Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
It has to be a made-up name. Nobody's named Callista Flockhart.
Next up was a pair of the saltwater sandals that I got from the kids' shoe liquidation purchase. I paid $9.09 per pair, and those sold for $39.99. Next up was a Sydney Love brand pink ostrich stamped leather envelope clutch handbag. This was purchased at a garage sale for $5 and sold for $16.68 on eBay. Did it sell on eBay? I felt like it sold on Poshmark.
No, it sold on eBay, but then you had an offer out on Poshmark.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I had this
It wouldn't let, if you have an offer out on Poshmark, it won't let you shut the listing down until
the offer expires. Yeah, and so it was like hyper-focused on that.
But we'd already sold it on eBay.
That's what it was, yeah. Next up was a vintage 1950s pair of boxing gloves in a youth size, and they were in the color oxblood. Kevin got 2 pair of these at a garage sale for $10 total, so $5 each. And this is the second pair to sell. This pair sold for $42.
That's pretty good.
And I think the first pair sold for around the same.
I think the first pair sold for a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But, still not bad.
Yeah, that was a good purchase. Next up was a Marvel SpiderMan refrigerator magnet where he looked like he was climbing.
It was a really cool magnet.
Yeah, actually, the reason why I even decided to list this was because when I did Google Lens image search, I couldn't find one. I couldn't find one listed anywhere on eBay. Yeah, so I put hard to find in the listing. I figured somebody who was a collector of Spider-Man stuff would eventually buy it. And that's what happened. It sold for $12.78, and we had no cost on that because it was a gift. Next up was a set of Saxon homeschool math books. You know that we've sold several of these in the past. They're like my new thing that I walk up to a garage sale and I'm like, hey, you got any Saxon homeschool math books?
You got any math books?
Most people go up and they're like, you got any video games? I'm like, you got any Saxon homeschool math books?
Yeah. Specific.
Yeah. So this was the Math 1 set, and it included the Teacher's Edition book, the student workbooks, 1 and 2, and the fact cards. We paid $6 in total for all of these, and they sold for $99.99.
I mean, that's a good profit.
Yeah. Next up was a 1996 Longaberger round basket with a blue cotton liner and a warming brick, and it had the papers and everything.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Yeah, never used.
It says excellent used condition, but it was brand new.
Yeah, it was never used.
It just didn't have wrapping.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't say that it was new because
it hadn't been used. It had all the stuff still in there.
Yeah. We paid $8 for that from a garage sale, and it sold for $39.99. Next up was 5 1993-94 Topps gold basketball cards. And these were all Kevin's. They sold for $12.19. Next up was a 1991 Don Russ Series 2 Ken Griffey Jr. card. This was also Kevin's and it sold for $2.29. And before we continue, I'd like to take a second to ask you to hit that like button and subscribe button. We would really appreciate it.
Well, she would.
Yeah. But Kevin would be okay with it, but I would really appreciate it.
But she really would appreciate it.
Next up was a dog ramp. This was something that we just had stored in our attic or like our storage shed or something.
We had a dachshund and he was getting to where he was having trouble getting up and down on things. And so I bought him this really nice dog ramp and he never ever used it.
He was like, I'm too good for this.
He just couldn't figure it out. His mind
he was terrified of it.
He would not use it no matter what.
Yeah.
So it just went into an attic and sat there for 4 years.
And then sadly he passed away early this year. So
yeah.
We sold the dog ramp on Facebook Marketplace, local pickup for $20.
We had it in our garage sale for $8 and nobody bought it. So
yeah, so that worked out for us. All right, next up was a Lego Minecraft box of Legos. When we purchased it at a garage sale for $9, the lady at the garage sale like assured us, she had it all taped up.
Little old liar.
She was this little old lady and she was like, oh yeah, I counted all those pieces and they're all there. I personally counted them myself. We were like, oh, she must be telling the truth. She seems like she's really honest. Got it home, opened it up, and poured it out. And like half the pieces in there were from a Lego's Friends set. They weren't even from the Lego Minecraft. So, and they were not even the number of pieces in there that there were supposed to be. So it was a big fat lie.
I don't know if the moral of the story is be wary at garage sales or don't trust old ladies. But I'm going to say both.
Yeah, definitely. So we got ripped off and she was even like, well, you could always come back. You know where I live. And, you know, I do remember where she lives. I'm thinking about it. But anyway, we bought that for $9 and only sold it for $24.99 because we had to sell it for replacement
Somehow
parts.
we still made a profit on it, though. So
we did.
Then I'm cool with that.
Yeah, well, I'm not cool with her lying to us.
I'm not cool with her lying to us. And we would have never paid $9 for a Lego set that was incomplete. But we still made some profit out of it. I'll take it.
But if you can find a complete Lego Minecraft, they make several different Minecraft sets. But if you can find a complete one, those will sell for a lot. So be on the lookout.
But check the pieces.
Yeah, don't trust the little ladies. All right, next up was a Legends of Air Combat Helicopter War DVD 3-disc set. That was gifted to us to sell. We had no cost, and it sold for $19.99. Next up was a random rogue Christmas item sale in the middle of summer. This was a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 18-piece window cling set. We had gotten these on clearance from a retail outlet here, and we paid $1.35, and these sold for $11.89. So not huge profit on this individual item, but we had picked up a huge stack of these, and then we listed them for like a quantity listing. So if you think about it in that way, we made a lot. Next up was a black and orange chevron print tribal tiger infinity scarf. This came from that huge bulk lot pickup that we did in the Goodwill bins. We paid 67 cents per scarf and listed them in bulk. And not in bulk, but in a quantity listing. This one sold on Poshmark for $9. And we still have lots of those. If you like it, you can pick one up.
We've sold way more of the black orange ones than we have.
That one's more popular, yeah.
And I don't understand. To me, that's the ugliest one. I like the other ones better than I like the black and orange one.
Well, people like the kind of tribal with the animal print.
I guess so, yeah.
People love animal print.
I was surprised that was the one that sold before the blue one or the red one.
Yeah, no. You just have you have more of an affinity towards like primary colors.
I don't like orange.
Yeah.
I don't like the color
But people like animal prints.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next up was a book called The Chronicle of the Beck Pottery by Kathleen R. Possel. This was a paperback from 1988. Talk about obscure.
98.
Oh, 1998, sorry, yeah. This was gifted to us to sell. Kevin and I pulled this book out of the box and we were both like, this is going to get listed. Because you can just tell sometimes when you pull something out, it seems like a really obscure item that somebody might collect or something that's a book you're going to list, and we just knew immediately. This sold for $14 and we had no cost. Next up was a 2019 Hasbro Ugly doll, and this was a Yours Truly Moxy doll, and it was in excellent condition. It was a giant one, like a 17-inch one, a big one. We got this at a garage sale for $2, and it sold for $32.99.
We've had really good luck with Ugly dolls.
The other ones you want to be on the lookout for, we've never found one, are Fugglers. Those are like similar to
I've never seen
Ugly
one of
dolls.
those in person. I've
Yeah.
only seen them on like ADH Dave.
Yeah, he's obsessed with Fugglers, actually.
He's got a fuggling addiction to those. I don't know how you'd say it.
Next up was a Magic the Gathering Sinkhole card. This was Kevin's, and that sold for $19 even. Next up was a 10.5-inch Tyrannosaurus Rex action figure animal. It had a sound button. You pressed it, and it made like a roaring sound. This came out of a thrift store toy bag for 14 cents, and it sold for $12.99. Next up was a Mark by Marc Jacobs brown and hot pink logo Terran bowler bag handbag. This was gifted to us to sell. We had no cost, and it sold for $89.99.
That was a really good one.
Next up was some more obscure items. These were a lot of 2 Dotsy CDs. They did sell pretty quickly. We had no cost, and they sold for $14.44. You want to look for this stuff. If you cannot find it listed on eBay, you might want to list it because somebody might be looking for it. When it comes to CDs. Next up was a 1995 Bowman's Best Blue Rookie Football card for the player Todd Sauerbrunn. That's quite a last name. This was Kevin's card, and it sold for $3.79.
I did love that set. I don't even like I said, I don't like football, I've said before, but I love that card set. It was such a nice card set. Opening those packages was such a joy because it was really...
Talk about an addiction.
I mean, some things give me joy, and opening cards gives me joy.
Next up was kind of a weird item, and I almost did not list it. And I probably shouldn't have because we did not make much on it. This was a Hertz golf towel, and I think it was customized to like just a random person. Like it might as well have said Kevin Williamson on it. It's had the name Emily Ray, who we researched, and apparently I think that just was like just a random person that it belonged to. But I went ahead and listed it because I was like, we only paid 50 cents. We picked it up with like a big bulk lot of like random golf items, and we made tons of money on that.
Yeah, that was just the assigned cost. We didn't actually pay 50 cents.
Yeah,
it was in a bin.
We made our money back on that purchase a long, long time ago with other things that have sold. But this eventually sold for $7.54, and we made a little bit of money on it. So
hey, we made 70 cents, and as I've said before, it didn't go into the landfill, which is where most people would have put that one.
Exactly.
Because it was personalized.
Exactly.
And somebody somewhere is happy and has a towel and
somebody
is living
got
their
it.
life.
Somebody's
wiping
changed their name to
wiping
Emily
their brow
Ray.
with it.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody's happy.
Exactly. Who knows? Next up was a Bandai Gundam Warriors incomplete model set. We got this at a garage sale for $1. I knew that it was incomplete when I picked it up, but if you can find these and they are complete or like brand new in the box, these will sell for a lot. So even incomplete, I wanted to pick it up for just $1. That was definitely worth it. This one sold for $27.98.
That's good profit.
That's good profit, yeah, for sure, for $1. Next up was a vintage Ace Toys Stone Protectors Chester Long John Silver's Kids Meal Toy. I didn't even know Long John Silver's made kids meal toys.
I did not either. Maybe they did in the 80s or 90s.
This looked like it was vintage from the 80s.
Yeah.
I found this at a rummage sale for 25 cents, and it sold for $12 on Mercari.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
No, it was weird
John's.
looking. It looked like a combination of like a muscle man. Is that how you say it? Muscle man or muscle man? Those little...
Yeah, no, I don't remember what they call them, but I know what you're talking about.
And a troll doll.
And a troll doll.
Yeah.
Looked a lot like a troll doll to me.
Yeah, it was weird looking.
Without the hair.
But this is a really good example of something that we've had listed on eBay for quite a while. It had a lot of watchers. So for a long time, I kept thinking this is going to sell. This is going to sell. But it didn't. So I finally decided to cross-list it using List Perfectly. And literally like the day after or 2 days after I cross-listed it, it sold on Mercari. So it was just all about getting it in front of the right buyer. And if you guys are interested in cross-listing, we do use List Perfectly. It cross-lists to 11 different platforms, and it has a lot of different features available on the different subscription levels, like sales detection and automatic delisting. Plus, they've just rolled out a really cool new feature that I'm honestly scared to try, but I can see the significance of this for the reselling industry. But it is an AI feature where you just upload your photos into List Perfectly, and List Perfectly will create the listing for you with just the photos.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it works great.
Yeah.
But I still would double check every single line of every single.
That's why. Yeah.
We're kind of obsessive in that way.
Yeah. I won't even use sell similar usually because I am fearful that I'm going to copy something that's incorrect. So doing this is super scary to me because I'm such a control freak in that way. And also I'm not one to usually try things when they first come out because I want all the bugs to get worked out by somebody else before I try it. So I have not tried this. I'm not, recommending it based on any personal experience. But if you do have personal experience with this and you've tried it, let everybody know in the comments below what your experience is. I can definitely see how this could revolutionize reselling or be a huge game changer for the amount of time that people spend on reselling. So if it is something that you're interested in, or if you're just interested in cross-listing in general, we do have a coupon code to get 30% off of List Perfectly. That coupon code is Nina's Jewels, and we have a link in the description box below. But if you are needing to do cross-listing on a budget and you don't have any extra money to spend, there are free ways to cross-list. And one of those ways is through Mercari. They actually have a free cross-listing tool built right into their app. It only cross-lists to Mercari. I mean, obviously they don't want you competing with anybody, but you can cross-list to Mercari from eBay, Poshmark, and Depop. So if you have items listed on any of those platforms already, and you don't have anything listed on Mercari, you can cross-list to Mercari from those platforms. That's a good free way to do it.
I would totally do that if I didn't have a Mercari set up already.
Exactly.
That'd be a great way to do it.
And we have an affiliate link for Mercari where you can also get an additional $30 to spend on Mercari. You get $10 when you make your first purchase on Mercari and an additional $20 to spend after you sell your first item. So that's a good additional way to get money to spend on more sourcing items. That's what we do. And speaking of, we are always super grateful when you guys use any of our affiliate links. We have Amazon, Mercari, Poshmark, Buy Me a Coffee. We have all kinds of affiliate links in our description box, and we can't tell you guys how much we appreciate it when anybody clicks on any of those links and use them, because it helps support our business and it helps support our channel, and we are super, super grateful. So while we're chatting, let's take a few minutes to talk about why we think it's important to stay diversified in our business.
What do you consider diversified?
I would say that I mean that we are not relying on one single income source. And we are actually diversified in many different ways. One of them is that we own 2 different businesses. We own Nina's Jewels, and then we also own a custom picture frame shop. And
in the real world.
In the real world, yes. And then I also work for a consulting firm, and we specialize in nonprofit consulting.
And then we have the YouTube channel, which throws in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit, not much. Yeah. And then our reselling business is even more diversified because we don't just sell on one platform. We sell on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, Citizen, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, whatnot.
So we're covered if something goes bad on one of the platforms or 2 of the platforms. We always have a place, some place to get some money from just in case.
Exactly. And you never know when you're going to get a suspension on any of the platforms through an accident or no fault of your own even. And we know that's true from personal experience. Yeah. And we also know that's true from watching other resellers. And you just need to make sure that you are prepared for the worst.
Yeah, it can happen at any moment. You don't have to be as diversified as we are, but don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And if reselling is your main business, just be able to pivot to selling something else or a different type of item or on a different platform. Just keep nimble. Don't just live on eBay.
Exactly.
That's the main. Just don't live just on eBay, because I'm sure eBay would love it.
Yeah.
But it's just not secure. Because that could get shut down for no reason.
Right.
For some random reason.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. You just want to make sure that you're prepared for any situation. All right, moving on. The next item up was our big banger for the week. We had a really good sale.
This is a good one.
And this was probably our best sale. This is going to have been our best sale of the month.
Maybe of the year.
I don't know.
Oh, no, because we sold the lamp earlier in the year.
Yeah, but this was a good one. And this was just an accidental purchase. I found this at a Salvation Army. I was literally checking out. I finished checking out the stuff I bought. And as I was finishing up at the register, I saw this item in the glass case. And I was like, that looks interesting. And I am no jewelry expert. I just asked him to take it out of the case, and I am also blind as a bat. I could not see. I could see that it was a marked brooch, but I could not see what it said on the back. And so I was like, I'm just going to take a risk on this. And so I purchased it. It turned out to be a vintage signed Elsa Schiaparelli grape cluster faceted iridescent amber brooch. And it was definitely worth it. I paid $7.57 for it. I just purchased it because it was pretty and I saw that it was marked and I was like, it's pretty and it's marked. I'm just going to go for it. And we ended up selling that for $375. So
that's a lot.
I was pretty proud of myself on that one. I have had a lot of fails, so I definitely nailed it on that one.
No, you did really good.
Give myself a pat on the back.
I would have walked right by it. I wouldn't have ever stopped to even look at it.
I usually don't look in the glass case, but that is a good lesson to look in the glass case.
A lot of the good stuff is in the glass case, but
a lot of times it's overpriced.
It's normally overpriced, and I don't like dealing with the counter people.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
But she found a good one.
Yeah. That was actually good day at the Salvation Army for me because I had also purchased that coat that we recently sold, which will be in an upcoming video.
Yeah, it was so nice. It was very iridescent, like the way the light went through it. It was really nice.
Next up was a Denim Co. women's plus size 3X periwinkle cotton trench coat. This was gifted to us to sell. We had no cost, and it sold for $30.
We got good feedback on that.
Oh, we did? I thought that was on... Did we sell the red Denim Co. too?
I don't think we've sold the red one.
Okay. Next up was a Thule Hullaport rooftop kayak carrier. We got 2 of these at an estate sale. We paid $24.36 for each one. This one sold for $80. Next up was a Homeschool Book. We got these at the same time we got the Saxon books. This one was Story of the World. This was a history book. It included the activity book, tests, and answer key. So I think it was also a lot. Was this a lot of books? I think it was.
I think it was it was a much smaller bundle than the math books. But
the history books weren't worth nearly as much. Yeah, this was, we purchased these for $4 and they sold for $24.99. Next up was a 1995 Bowman's Best Mirror Image baseball card of the players Ben Davis and Ivan Rodriguez. That's
Ivan.
Pudge.
It's Yvonne.
Oh, Yvonne.
Pudge Rodriguez.
The mirror image ones are always 2 people.
Yes.
Yeah. That card sold for $3.79. And last up was more cards. These were 3 1995 Fleer All-Star baseball cards. These were Kevin's, and they sold for $6.32. And that wraps up all of our sales for this week. Let's go over the totals. This was a good week. We had some good sales. And we sold 41 items in total.
That's good. Closer to that 50 where we really would like it. But for summer, 41's great.
For an average sale price of $31.78.
That's a good one.
Our sales totaled $1,303.17.
Nice.
And that made for a net profit of $789.64.
That was a good profit week. That's like double some of our profit weeks.
I know.
That was a great one.
I know.
Mostly helped by the $290 from the brooch.
I know. I wish we had a brooch sale like that every week.
But even without the brooch, it would have been a decent week. It would have been almost $500.
Yeah, it was a good week.
It was just a good week in general.
It was a good week.
Randomly.
Yeah. So that wraps up our video for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and stay tuned for the next video that's going to be popping up on the screen. Thanks so much for joining, and we will catch you on the flip side.